hearing a lot of people here, they're all sounding very sincere, very pure and philosophical, and, it's like, how human beings should be really. But, I also have a lot of sincere thoughts. But when I talk about actually setting up a business or setting up a venture, I end up realizing that I'm immature and impractical. And, when I talk to people, say, you can never be successful because, you're not practical. Right. So, do we people face impractical situations?
Yeah. So Manoj, you are sounding too pure and we know you're sincere. And a lot of people have sounded pure today. But जब धंधा करने शुरू करता हूँ ना, तो ये सब practical नहीं लगता है. So can you balance the dhanda versus purity? It was.
Okay, I will try. This is the task of our time. It's a collective task, I think. Let me start by saying I don't have any perfect answers. I have the answers that I've experienced, which I'm willing to share with you. I wanted to start by saying I come from about 11 years of working in a Fortune 50 company at the highest levels, dealing with C-level people. So I'm not a stranger to this argument that this kind of sincerity and philosophical talk seems like it's contradictory to practical stuff. What I will say that in a systems level thinking, the highest and most successful intervention you can make in practical affairs is also to change your mindset. Yeah, so let me just start with that and present you with some examples of how even in the world of business, which is hard-nosed, places an emphasis on on-the-ground realities and practicality, and also on the short term, how some of these ideas are coming into being. One of the movements that I'm seeing emerge in the world and take some of the parts of the world by storm is a few of corporations called B corporations, the letter B, which stands for benefit. And what this movement is doing is keeping all the practical aspects of business. So you say we're very good strategic planners in business. We're very good at listening to people on the ground and modifying our offering on the spot. All of these things that business does really well are preserved in this movement. The one thing that changes, what is the aim of business for? And the simple change that this movement is bringing up in a legal sense is making the people who run a company, run a business, beholden not just to very narrow economic sense of well-being, but expand that set to say, if you made the aims of your business around economic success, yes, but also around environmental success and also around good social outcomes, what do the activities of business look like? Following the same approaches that business schools have been thinking about measurement, about tracking your progress, about innovation, all of that stays the same. But if you change the endpoint, if you change the dependent variable of what does business success look like, can businesses be run very differently? So this is one example, I think, but I hope it gets to that nut around. These ideas might sound impractical, but in reality they aren't.
Okay. Yeah, just one more question to close the day. Yeah. So
my question is that when you say the neurons, does it denote a kind of energy level when you say? And when you see in the slide, there was a kind of a mind and your kidney, or what you call intestine. So, generally when people say that when your system is okay, means your mind will also work perfectly fine. So it has to be in a sync. So the more, you think like the way you are thinking in a very pious and a very pure manner, you have a level of neuron increases, which in a way affect your complete system and you work more efficiently.
So Manoj, was the question clear to you?
Yes.
All right.
A couple of thoughts on this. One, you're hinting at a good thing. It's not the question of is it brain versus the gut. That idea of versus itself might be problematic. It might be a question, and this is speculation on my part, around hierarchy. What follows what? So what I see in a lot of examples about things going wrong is that everybody has a sense of this intuition that things are wrong, but it submerges itself to the dictates of the mind. In fact, the mind is very awesome at coming up with illusions to justify the things that we're doing. So in that sense, it's a very strange kind of object. We can justify anything. And a lot of us have personal experience with this. So how about in a world where that order is reversed of the mind, the brain, takes its cues and takes its lead from the gut? What might that world look like is a good question to ask. The other difference that I'm noticing between the functioning of the brain and of the gut is that the brain is trapped in this notion we have called the self. Yeah? An intensely personal notion of I am my own person, I have independence from the rest of the people around me and the world, which is not completely an illusion, but the gut speaks a very different language. The gut speaks a language of collective stuff. In fact, people are arguing that the neurons in our gut don't really feel that they belong to you. They belong to a collective sense. So if you're in the room right now, all of our gut brains are talking to each other in a way that they don't really understand where one person ends and the other person starts. So that sort of collective view, summed up very beautifully in a phrase that we have in India called Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam. This feeling of universal interconnection and responsibility is not just a pure, sincere thing anymore. Like I said before, it's the cutting edge of our scientific understanding. And there's a lot more to discover. So I think you touched upon a very good thing. It's not for us to think about it, is the brain better or the gut better? It's a question of how do they work together and what is the right prioritization.
Thank you, Manoj. Manoj, actually, when the session began, I was very... When the session began, I was very jittery. So my mind said we must pack the session because we were too tired. But my intestine said we must do it. I'm glad I heard my intestine. Thank you very much.